It's the 4th century BC. Sparta, the legendary, military powerhouse of ancient Greece, is still basking in the glory of its victory over Athens in the Peloponnesian War. Their warriors are feared, their phalanxes unmatched, their dominance seemingly eternal. But from the shadows rises an unexpected challenger, city-state dismissed as second-rate, disrespected, underestimated. Thebes. No one expected Thebes to become the grave threat to Spartan supremacy. No one foresaw that a brutal showdown at a place called Leuctra would forever rewrite the history of Greek warfare. This is not the story taught in your average textbook. This is the rise of a forgotten titan, and the beginning of the end for the Spartan myth. At first glance, Thebes seemed like anything but a threat. It lacked the naval prowess of Athens, the sheer military tradition of Sparta, and the cultural prestige of other major poleis. But what it did possess, quietly growing beneath the surface, was a deeply rooted sense of pride, strategic geography, and most importantly, a new generation of brilliant minds unshackled by tradition. Thebes sat at the crossroads of central Greece, in the region of Boeotia, a fertile land surrounded by mountains and close to key trade routes. This location gave it access, defensibility, and wealth, even if it had often been overshadowed politically and militarily. For centuries, Thebes had been entangled in the greater struggles of Greece, sometimes allied with Athens, other times with Sparta, often reluctantly. But one constant ran through these alliances: Thebes was rarely treated as an equal, particularly by Sparta, who saw the Boeotians as useful pawn-sturdy warriors, but never leaders. After the Peloponnesian War, this patronizing stance turned to outright interference. Thebes was expected to play along with Sparta's agenda. But things changed dramatically in 382 BC, when the Spartans committed one of the most audacious political betrayals in Greek history. That year, a Spartan general named Phoebidas, acting without official orders, seized the Theban Acropolis during a moment of internal division in the city. He installed a pro-Spartan government and brought Thebes firmly under Spartan control. It was an act of both strategic brilliance and moral outrage. Thebes had been effectively conquered without a war. The message was clear: obey or be occupied. But what the Spartans underestimated was how deeply this humiliation would be felt. Rather than cowing the Thebans into submission, occupation forged a sense of shared resentment and unity among their citizens. In the years that followed, resistance brewed in secret. Exiled democrats, most notably Pelopidas, plotted to reclaim their city. In 379 BC, they launched a daring coup, sneaking back into Thebes, assassinating the Spartan collaborators and rallying the people in a stunning revolt. The occupation ended in a single night. But this wasn't just a rebellion. It was a turning point. The Thebans, newly freed, now had a score to settle. From that fire emerged Epaminondas. Epaminondas was not your typical Greek general. He wasn't a brute nor a tyrant. He was a philosopher warrior, a man who blended ethics with tactics, a student of Pythagoras who saw geometry in battle formations and virtue in discipline. He believed in an egalitarian Thebes, one that could not only stand on its own, but become a moral and military force in the Greek world. With Pelopidas by his side, charismatic, daring, and loyal Epaminondas began transforming Theban society. They revitalized the Boeotian League, a confederation of city-states with Thebes at its heart. This was more than a political move, it was the groundwork for a coalition that could stand against Sparta. Meanwhile, Epaminondas introduced radical changes to the Theban military. Traditionally, Greek hoplite armies lined up in uniform phalanxes, with their best soldiers often stationed on the right flank. But Epaminondas had a different idea, an idea that would break centuries of warfare norms. By 371 BC, tensions had reached a breaking point. Thebes and Sparta met at a peace conference in Sparta city, when the Theban delegation, led by Epaminondas, insisted on signing the treaty on behalf of the entire Boeotian League, not just Thebes. The Spartans took offense. They rejected the demand, seeing it as a power grab. War became inevitable. Sparta marched north with an army, including 700 elite Spartiates, full-blooded Spartan citizens and warriors. It was a confident display. Sparta had never lost a battle in the open field when its king was present. Thebes, they thought, would be crushed once and for all. The battle was set at Leuctra, a relatively obscure patch of land near Theban territory. The Spartan king Cleombrotus I led the army, expecting a swift and glorious victory. But Epaminondas had prepared something they had never seen before. Instead of the traditional phalanx, he arranged his forces with revolutionary depth on the left flank up to 50 ranks deep. Compared to the usual 8 or 12, this left flank would deliver a hammer blow directly to the Spartan right, where their most elite troops stood. Meanwhile, the weaker Theban right was staggered and refused angled back to avoid immediate confrontation. It was a tactical masterpiece. Among the ranks of the left flank stood the sacred band of Thebes' 300 elite soldiers, paired in bonds of love and trust, trained to fight and die for each other. These were not mercenaries or conscripts. They were Thebes' most loyal sons, and their courage would break the unbreakable. When the battle began, the Theban left surged forward with immense force. Spartan right, caught off guard by the density and aggression of the attack, faltered. King Cleombrotus was struck down, and chaos rippled through the Spartan lines. Within hours, what was supposed to be a routine victory turned into a humiliating rout. Thebes had done the impossible. The Spartans were not just defeated, they were shattered. Over 1,000 Spartan allies lay dead, along with 400 Spartiates. The myth of Spartan invincibility, built over centuries, was gone. Epaminondas had not just won a battle, he had created a new doctrine of warfare and reset the balance of power in Greece. If you're captivated by this untold story of strategy, courage, and historical upheaval, don't stop here. Subscribe now and be part of our deep dives into the forgotten wars and fallen empires that shaped civilization. Every battle, every hero, every moment that changed the world, it's all waiting for you. Hit the button, and let's keep digging into the epic past. In the aftermath of Leuctra, the consequences were profound. The Spartan hegemony unraveled. Cities across the Peloponnesus, once loyal out of fear, now rebelled. Messenia, which had been enslaved for centuries by Sparta, was liberated with Theban help. A new city, Messenia, was founded with walls so massive they stunned Greek observers. The heart of the Spartan economy built on helot labor was ripped out. Sparta's population of full citizens, already dwindling due to its rigid laws, plummeted further after Leuctra. They could no longer replenish their warrior class, and their dominance was over. Epaminondas didn't stop there. He launched campaigns deep into the Peloponnesus, reaching as far as Laconia itself. The first time in centuries, Sparta was directly threatened on its own soil. He respected the city's resilience, but made it clear the age of Spartan tyranny was finished. Yet even in victory, Epaminondas remained measured. He sought balance, not destruction. He didn't raise cities or enslave populations. His goal was not to replace Spartan dominance with Theban oppression, but to create a more equitable Greek world. That vision, though noble, would not survive him. In 362 BC, at the Battle of Mantinea, Epaminondas led Thebes once more into the fray, this time against a coalition that included Sparta and Athens. Once again, he proved tactically superior, but fate intervened. Mortally wounded in the battle, Epaminondas asked only two things: that peace be made and that two of his commanders continue leading. When he was told both had died, he replied, "Then you must make peace." With his death, Thebes lost its guiding light. What followed was a slow unraveling. Thebes, now leaderless, couldn't maintain the delicate alliances Epaminondas had built. Athens regained some strength. Sparta persisted in stubborn decline. And into this vacuum stepped a rising northern power. Macedon, led by Philip II, former hostage in Thebes, who had likely studied Epaminondas' tactics. Macedon would soon conquer all of Greece, paving the way for his son, Alexander the Great. Ironically, the victory at Leuctra that had once shattered the old order had also cleared the path for a new empire. Thebes, for all its brilliance, was but a comet bright, fast, and fleeting. Yet its impact was undeniable. It changed the face of warfare, humbled the most feared army in the ancient world, and proved that innovation and vision could overcome tradition and fear. In the end, Thebes versus Sparta wasn't just a clash of armies. It was a clash of worldviews. Sparta represented rigidity, hierarchy, and stagnation. Thebes, under Epaminondas, embodied adaptation, courage, and change. And for a brief, shining moment, change won. Let us remember Leuctra, not just as a battlefield, but as a reminder that no power lasts forever, and that the world changes not by those who cling to the old ways, but by those brave enough to invent the new.